Welcome back. Thank you so much for those of you who watched my last video, and thank you if you're back again today for our upper body version. We are going to use things that we have around the house so that we can get a good workout in, get different weights in, be creative, and have no excuses to work out. And so that we don't have to go and buy a bunch of gym equipment just to work out at home. If you do have dumbbells or weights that you have and that work for you for these workouts, please use them. We want to make sure that you have a lot of options, and sometimes you have to get creative. The second thing I want to say is please modify to whatever level you need to be at. Nobody is saying that you need to do exactly what I do today. What I'm doing is trying to challenge myself at about an intermediate level. However, you might need to take different options to make things sometimes more challenging or sometimes less challenging. If by the third or fourth rep, or you're having trouble getting into position, that's a sign that you might want to take a different option. If you're really not feeling it at all, maybe you need to make it more challenging, do another round, do more reps, or find something that's heavier. So again, I'm going to give you guys some different weight options or things you can use around the house. Sometimes you have to get creative, and it took me a little bit to find the right things for me today. So a couple things I'm going to use today. Detergent seems to be a little bit better than water as a weight. I find it a little bit heavier and it doesn't slosh around quite as much, so it seems a little bit more natural to hold and to use. This was about 7-ish, 8 pounds. Try things out, weigh them, see how they feel. I also have my backpack back again today. So I lightened the load just a little bit, so there's only 2 textbooks in here, and this is great for some overhead press. Maybe if you want to use rows instead of the corner rows that I'm going to show you today. They could also be good for curls if you want to do double arm. Kind of depends on the bag that you have and the way that it feels. I have our towels back again, and we'll use these under our hands today. So I'll give lots of options for things that we can do with these or without them, and I'm just using hand towels. We'll use a chair, a mat. You'll need a corner of your house that you can use, and I'll show you those. One of the workout or the exercises we're going to do today is a corner row. You will need a corner for this, and preferably not with the door. So find a corner. It needs to be a regular corner, and you're squeezing your shoulders down and back to row yourself up. So think of it as like the opposite of a push-up.
Okay, just so you see this from a different angle, you're gonna step forward and you wanna keep your body in basically a plank position, and you're squeezing your shoulders back as you push your elbows into the wall. If this is uncomfortable, put some sort of padding in between you and the wall, or I give you an option to do rows later. Once you have everything set up, we'll get started. Make sure you do some sort of warm-up, something like 5 or 6 minutes of walking or moving around. These are just some movements that I find are helpful when about to do some upper body things. Generally, we don't want to hold stretches for a long period of time, but for me, it helps to open up my body to do some stretching. Just the important thing is we're keeping it moving, so things are staying dynamic and we're getting the blood flow. Here are some side-to-side twists. I like to get my core involved with some walkouts. So do some knee lifts. It's where you just gently hover the knees to the ground. Maybe they tap very slightly, but you're not slamming them down. So from the side, that looks like this. And you can do it the opposite way. If planks are something that you struggle with, you can start on your knees and practice lifting up. Some shoulder taps. And then the last thing that I highly encourage you to do before we get into some push-ups in our workout, which of course we're starting with, are scapular push-ups. And as you can see, my arms are not bending here. You can do these on your knees or your toes or even on all fours. And you're letting your shoulder blades collapse in and then pushing them out. So you're gonna feel the weight underneath your hands. Those are really great to prepare your shoulder for the weight it's about to do. Once you guys are all warmed up, we're gonna get started with our workout. Our first set is, of course, push-ups. We're gonna do 2 to 3 sets of the hardest push-up you can do with good form, and then 2 to 3 more sets of an easier push-up variation of 8 to 12 reps. So first I'm going to show you a couple different options. Of course, kneeling or standard toe push-ups are great, but I'm also going to offer the option of putting your toes elevated slightly so that they're more or less in line with your shoulders, maybe slightly a decline push-up. And then the other option I'm going to give is elevated hands on your toes or on your knees. And these are going to be good variations. So I want you to take whichever variation felt the hardest to you, that you can maintain good form for a couple of good reps. This first part of the workout is designed to work on pure strength. So we want to get stronger. So we're going to be working in about a 5 to 8 rep range with something challenging. We're going to do a slow 3 count down, 1 quick count up. So 3, 2, 1, up. Quick, 3, 2, 1, up. Quick. Slow 3, 2, 1, up. Quick. Good. And you're going to keep going until you've done the amount that you can do. 5 to 8 reps is what we're going for. You might need to do a little less or a little more, but ultimately that's the range that we want to be working in. When you're done, you're going to rest for a good 1 to 2 minutes. So you might need to pause this video because I'm speeding up some of the rest time for time's sake. But once you've rested, we got another set of these. And we're going to try to, again, maintain good form and hit that 5 to 8 rep range. And it should be slow on the decline. So not only are we adding challenge by it being the hardest version of a push-up that we're working on, but we're slowing down the eccentric movement portion. So again, these should be very challenging. You should need to rest about a minute or 2 in between. And then we'll go on to our next set. You can do another set of these if you're up for it, or you can keep the same variation or drop down in variation. So I'm going to do a set on my toes and a set on my knees for this next one. And you want to be about the 8 to 12 rep range now at about a normal speed. If push-ups are like your thing and you're really good at them, you might need to do up to 15 or more push-ups. If you're doing 15, 20 really easy every single set, then it might mean that you need to add some other external weight like a weighted vest or trying to find a different option that's going to be more challenging for you. Other ways that you can add more challenge is to try and go a little bit quicker or go slower or take less rest in between sets, or maybe even adding more sets than I'm doing here. So again, make this workout your own, listen to your body, and push yourself where you need to in a smart way. That's what this workout's about. When you're done with push-ups, we're gonna go into our next set. I'm calling this a row combo set. We're gonna be doing corner rows or dumbbell backpack rows if you have them or if you prefer them, and single arm rows. So again, we're gonna go back over to the corner here. Nika's gonna follow me, and it's really cute. She watches me the whole time. So if you're doing corner rows or if you're doing backpack rows, you're keeping your spine long and you're focusing on the squeeze between your shoulder blades. Honestly, guys, I do find these corner rows pretty challenging, as you can see in my face, and ideally we want to be doing 8 to 12 reps. I think I got about like 8 to 9 each time before I was kind of sick of these. So again, listen to your body here and do what works best for you. I found those out on a really cool Instagram post, so I had to throw these in here. The single arm bent rows, we're hinging the hips back, keeping the spine long, and really focusing again on driving the elbow up and back. And now we're getting the biceps a little bit more in this picture. My rep range, I was going for 12 to 15, and I felt like my weight was almost right, but it was a little lighter than I was used to in the gym. So if that's your case, you're gonna be going for closer to the 15 rep range, maybe even a little bit more. This isn't something that you have to do low reps on anyways. If you do high reps, you're still gonna feel this, and we can't ever do enough back strengthening things, I think. We neglect that area of the body a lot in everyday life, so it's important that we do things that are challenging it. And here's where Nika steals my workout equipment, so if you thought that was only a gym problem, it is not. So we're gonna go back to the wall or back to our backpack rows. Just whatever row option you're using here, try to do something with double arms since we are doing single arm rows in the other one. Another option is to do pull-ups if you happen to have a pull-up bar in your house, but since I'm trying to make this something you can do if you don't have really any equipment, I'm not going to be showing that today, but that is another option. So we're going on to our second round of rows. Again, if you're not feeling it, do extra reps or see if you can find a heavier weight. Another thing you want to keep in mind is your breathing. So since we're in the hinge position, make sure your core is braced here, and we're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, if that helps you. And I like to breathe in on the way down, out on the way up, so that it kind of facilitates my movement, keeps me focused, and keeps the muscles working in a very consistent way. All right, so if you're feeling good, we got one more round. And again, I'm coming back here to the corner rows, and I think this last round I only did like 6 or 7. They are really surprisingly tough. So forgive me for not having perfect form here, but again, we're all working to get stronger. And these are great for posture. I was kind of tired of my detergent weight at this point, so I tried using the backpack for my last round. It wasn't the most ideal weight, but that's sort of the trade-off, of course, of working at home and finding equipment around the house. It's not going to feel as natural or as nice as it would feel to lift weights, but it's still a weight and it still works, and it gives the added challenge of things being pretty functional. I mean, it's more likely that I'd have to lift this heavy backpack off the ground than I'd ever have to lift just a random piece of iron. So if you want to look at it that way, that's the bright side of things. And again, feel free to pause the video or fast forward at any point if you are working at your own speed and if you didn't want to do 3 reps of that. All right, our next circuit is going to consist of chest flies, overhead tricep extensions, and rear delt back flies with a rotation. And I'm going to give you some options for all of these. The first thing I want to show you is the slider chest fly. Now, obviously this is something that is created due to the fact that we do not have dumbbells or heavy enough dumbbells. Then this is another option. We can be kneeling and we're going to be sliding our hand out to the side, and option to do single arm, but ultimately we want to be doing double arm in whatever variation we do to mimic a chest fly. Again, option with weights. I put a little picture on the screen that you could be doing instead. So see how I'm opening our arms up and squeezing the chest to bring them in together. The point of the slider is to kind of mimic the same feeling that you would have with a chest fly. Then next option is going to be doing them on your knees. If you have absolutely any shoulder instability issues at all, I would not do this option. I would find a different alternative for you, either doing another set of push-ups, maybe some wide push-ups. The last option, of course, you can do single arm or double arm with this on your toes, but I would say this is a really advanced option. As you can see, I really struggle. I had to take a break to even demonstrate 1 rep on my toes. I forgot how many different options there were here. And it took me really a lot. That first rep wasn't even that good. So again, don't take that as the way you should do this. It should look a lot smoother than that. And if it looks like that, that means that is not the option that you want to be doing. And just so you see this from the side, this was option 1 and 2. This is the next option that I'm actually going to do today. And so you can see what that looks like. And then this is the option that I'm not going to do today because it's not that good for me. Whatever option you decide to go with today, whether it's with the dumbbells or with the sliders or just extra push-ups that are wider in nature, we want to make sure we're keeping the shoulders away from the ears and the elbows are staying pretty soft. If we're doing single arm, the other arm is bending into a full push-up position while the other arm comes out into more of a fly position. If you're unfamiliar with chest flies all the way, I would stick to light cans instead and doing a regular chest fly on your back, because that will get you used to the movement. Again, this is just something that I wanted to throw in there if you're missing chest flies and you're used to working out in the gym and doing them. If you're not used to doing them at all, you start with the basics. All right, shoulder presses overhead. I use my backpack, but you can use anything that is going to be challenging to you. Here's another option. Of course, you can use your tomato soup cans, whatever you have. And then I'm going to use my tomato cans to do the back flies. So bringing the shoulders up, keeping the arms relatively straight, but if you can notice, there's a tiny, tiny bend in my elbows. So you're never locked out in the elbows here, and that's going to keep the elbows and the shoulders, everything safe. As you squeeze the shoulders up and back, you're rotating your thumbs up towards the ceiling, and we're aiming for about 8 to 15 reps again. I tried to go 12 to 15 on these because they're a small muscle group. They're working those upper back, again, mid-back posture muscles. They're really neglected. If you find these challenging, you can even do these with body weight, without any weights at all. And they're really good to add into your program if you're not already, as something to work your accessory muscles and just to keep your shoulders working and functioning well. So here's an option without weights. Palms can stay down, or you can do the same thing where you turn the palms up and lower with control. All right, if you're into a round 2, we're doing it. Taking your option with the gliders, or again, option to do wide push-ups or chest flies with your soup cans. And remember to breathe in and out and keep your core tight. If we are doing anything in a push-up position, keep your shoulders engaged away from your ears. Keep your elbows soft. They are bending here. And part of working out, I believe, is getting to know your body and how it moves. So doing challenging moves like that might be kind of different and non-traditional, I think help you learn about your body and space more. And it's good to challenge yourself in different ways, not just to get more muscle or to reach your goals in terms of physique or how much weight to lift, but to make sure that we're moving our body in dynamic ways. It makes us feel good when we can accomplish something new. There's so many good benefits to challenging your body differently and making it more resilient overall. So we're moving on to the back flies. If you are following along, always remember the option to pause the video, or if you're not down for a third round after this, once you finish, you can fast forward to the next part. I'm totally okay with you guys taking this workout and making it your own. Maybe you need an extra break. That's cool as well. I just turned to the side so that you can see a side angle of this and to see what brand spaghetti sauce that I use. I'm just kidding. But just as you can see how the shoulder is doing the rotation. Yes, my fingers are rotating, but it is the shoulder that is actually rotating and staying very, very stable. And of course, our spine is long, belly is pulled in and braced. The hip is hinging. We always want to make sure that our back is never rounding here. It's staying really tall, really strong and long. It's part of working the upper body, I believe, to be in a good, solid position. Cool. If you're down for round 3, rest up, and we're about to get going with the chest flies. And I'm just jamming out to my music because I needed a second before I can muster the courage to do another round, and I think that you can too. So let's go. Something you might be wondering is, why am I giving such a large range for rep ranges in most of these workouts? And that is because I don't know what weight you have. What I want you to do is find a weight within that range that is challenging, and it might be 8 reps where you're like, whoa, can't do another one. You should probably stop there. Or you might get to 10 or 12 reps and be like, I could definitely do 3 or 4 more very easily, in which case you should do 3 or 4 more or find a more challenging weight. But you ultimately want to be somewhere in that range. We're working out at home, so we have to keep in mind that we have to find our own intensity a little bit differently than we would in a gym, where it's real obvious what weight we're using and how many reps. Whereas here, when we have limited equipment, we need to make sure we are still challenging ourselves appropriately. And if we're in that rep range, then we're probably doing a good job. So if you thought that getting your equipment stolen when you walk away was a problem you only had in the gym, I'm finding that at home, it's the same exact story, but at least this time it's a very cute cat on my workout equipment. I'll take it. But you will want a chair or a stair for this next round. We're going to be doing tricep dips, overhead extensions, and single arm upright rows to a bicep curl. And I'll show you what each of those entail. For the tricep dips, take any option that feels good in your body. Maybe we don't do full range, maybe we bend the knees or straighten the legs. You can also put your foot up on another chair if you had it, or up on a step to make things a little bit more hard. So once you have your option, we're going to be doing some tricep dips. These might be really challenging for you. We're looking for an 8 to 12 rep range, but if tricep dips are really hard, maybe doing 5 to 8 is a better idea for you. And do them nice, slow, and controlled, really feeling this in our triceps. The second movement is going to be overhead tricep extensions. I thought for sure that my detergent was going to be great for this, but it felt kind of like it was going to leak, and it just didn't feel very heavy for me. So I tried my backpack out, and it actually was perfect, especially after taking a book out. So once I got the weight right there, I'm using weight for my overhead tricep extensions. Things you want to keep in mind here: keep your elbows close to your face. Really try to get a full extension, and if you're holding a heavy object, it might be hard to go all the way down, but go as low as you can and then straighten all the way to the top. Keep your core tight. We don't want to be pushing into our low back for this one. All right, so we can do bicep curls if we'd like. My variation is going to be an upright row bicep curl combo. I like that it just targets the biceps a little bit differently and fully. So if you're going to do an upright row, we're going to bring our elbow up to the side, weight stays really close to us, and then when we curl the weight, we're curling out and up towards the shoulder. So we're sliding it up and then curling it up. Slide, curl. If you feel any pain in your shoulder or any pinching sensation, stick to just a bicep curl. But we want to be doing high reps on each side. I think I was doing about 12 to 15 each round, give or take. And for me, I did different reps in some of these rounds just because I was feeling it more than others. And again, we're trying to find the right rep range for you today. Another thing you could do is if you're going to repeat this workout, write down how many reps and what weight you did or what you used, and see if you can add on either weights or reps or maybe even sets every time you work out, or maybe at least once a week or every 2 weeks or so that we are progressing again over time. Eventually, you want this laundry detergent to feel so light that it's not even worth your time. All right, if you're with me, let's go on to round 2. Feel free to take different options. If you're getting more tired after doing them with legs straight, maybe you switch to knees. Another variation that I didn't show on here that I probably should have, if you're new to tricep dips, is to just hold yourself in a tricep dip position for 8-10 seconds at a time, and then relaxing and repeating for a couple of reps of that, and that can help build up the general strength in your shoulders and your triceps to hold you into that position so that over time you can start to add dips to that work. And then I switched to some textbooks for my next round. So again, feel free to play with some things. I was pretty sure I found the weights that I needed, and then I had to go get creative. So I stacked 2 textbooks, and for me that was perfect. So feel free to do the same. Again, overhead extensions, challenge yourself in the rep range that's right for you and the weight that's right for you. We'll do another round of upright rows and curls. I'm doing these with pretty minimal rest in between sets, maybe about 20-30 seconds in between sets. If you need more rest, please take it. Again, you can pause this video. This is your workout. But for these particular movements, since we're not really doing maximum strength and we're kind of going more for muscle fatigue and endurance, it might make more sense for you to take minimal rest, keep the heart rate up, one, and then also just challenging the muscles a little bit more by not letting them rest in between sets, especially in between the tricep dips and the tricep over extensions, just to really hit those muscles in a strong way. I was actually really proud of myself. I thought this was the perfect weight for me with these bicep curls, and I'm gonna be kind of sad because next time I try to use them to do something like this, it's gonna be way less detergent in there, I'm sure, but I'll just have to find something else to use instead. I thought about using textbooks, but they didn't really work that well, but you can fill a jug of water with something. Whatever you're doing, have fun with it. It's kind of funny to be sitting here just curling a detergent bottle. I'm just getting some extra bicep curls in because I was actually really feeling this, and like I said, really happy that I chose that weight. So hopefully you're finding that you can choose weights that are challenging for you too. I'm gonna speed up my 3rd round. If you are doing a 3rd round, please, again, pause the music, put on your favorite tunes, and get it done. You guys are doing awesome if you're following along. Again, if you have any questions about how to modify any of this, or if you hate a movement and you want a different alternative, I'd be happy to give it to you, so just let me know. And as you can see, Nika is sitting here grooming herself, so she definitely adds cuteness to this video. When you're done, we will get ready for our final round. I'm calling it triceps, core, and more. I did 2 rounds with a little extra for this, but we're gonna be doing plank ups, tricep kickbacks, diamond push-ups, and supermans. So I'm gonna show you first your options for plank ups, because if you're like me, these aren't your favorite. Ideally, we wanna be keeping a strong core. So your first option is to be in a quadruped or a tabletop position. Your goal is to place your hands directly under your shoulders and then place your elbows directly under your shoulders. So your hands and your elbows are trying to go down in the same spot every time. You're trying not to rock your hips too much. Naturally, there will be some rocking, but you're trying to really solidify your core here. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind is to make sure we're doing even amounts of work on both sides. is halfway through, you're going to switch your lead arm. So I'm doing 5 on each side. You can do more, you can do less, but I'm gonna start here in the full plank position, trying to keep my butt down. It's coming up a little bit. I would yell at myself for that. But after 5, see how I'm switching arms. So now my left arm is leading. But ultimately, I'm trying to keep my core tight, pressing my hands right underneath my shoulders each time. I love this because it's great to get better at push-ups with. It's great tricep strength, and you're getting your core engaged, which is something that we can always use a little bit more of while working our upper body. All right, tricep kickbacks are next. I'm using my salsa cans. I felt like I needed to do a lot of reps of these to really feel it. Specific things that you can keep in mind is to keep your elbows lifted up towards the ceiling and just let your forearms move. Squeeze your pinkies towards the ceiling. You can even see how I'm putting a little pause at the top to try to squeeze my triceps a little bit more. This is definitely something where I was trying to find the heaviest weights that would be good for this. But ideally, yeah, somewhere between 3 and 6 pounds. If you do enough reps, you will feel it. All right, so make sure you rest, of course, because we are going to do diamond push-ups. These are optional, guys. If you're really dying right now in terms of push-ups, please skip these. As you can see from my demonstration, the fingers are in a diamond shaped, but the elbows are staying close to the body. We're keeping the shoulders and elbows tucked in, and we want to feel these in the triceps. I really love working my triceps, so I'm sorry if there's so much tricep stuff in here, but it's a lot easier to work the triceps, and I really work them hard when I go to the gym, so I have to do a lot of reps to feel these, and you may agree or disagree. So remember, this is your workout, so if you're adapting this at home, take whatever options you need. So I'm throwing another set of kickbacks in here, and I did a set of kickbacks in between each of these movements for at least the first or second round. So things get a little bit weird here because I think I went a little off my plan, but that was just because I knew that I needed to modify things to feel better in my body in a way that I knew was going to be challenging. All right, here are some options for Supermans. Your first one is to lift your hands and your feet. Notice how my neck is a part of my spine. It's not cranking up, it is in line with the rest of my body. If you want to level up, we can lift, hold, and squeeze the elbows back, or you can bend the knees and the elbows to get even more engagement. The purpose of a Superman is to work the posterior chain, namely the muscles of the back, the spine specifically, so we want to be controlling this movement. Another option is to rotate the arms up, which I didn't list here, but that is another option you can do, and that can get a little more engagement from your shoulders. So choose an option that's challenging, that you can do about 10 to 15 reps about, stretch it out, and if you're going for a second round, we'll get right into those plank ups. Again, these are optional, guys, right here. I actually think my second set of plank ups looks a little bit better than my first round did. I don't know if that was just because I was tired of demonstrating things, but hopefully you understand that we're not perfect when we work out, but we want to be trying our best to have good form, to breathe through our movements, and to work hard and challenge ourselves, and ultimately we get better by doing that. If your form is completely broken down, you're not going to get better. However, if you don't ever challenge yourself to do something a little bit harder, you won't get better either. So it's important that we find a balance between those things. Here's just another set of kickbacks. And ultimately, I'm going to make another video about this in more detail, but if you're watching this right now, you're probably a close friend or family member, and thank you so much again for watching this, but you're probably wondering why I chose the brand name of Intuitive Strength and Fitness. For me, being intuitive means that we are listening into the things that our body's saying to us when we do things, and we can only truly understand what they're trying to say if we are educated, if we have the knowledge and the experience to draw from to ultimately make a good choice. When someone thinks someone's really intuitive about something, it's not because they're magical or they know how to read minds. They've studied something or been involved in something for so long that they can ultimately make the best choice in any given situation. For example, like a football player, when they throw a pass to the receiver at the right moment and everyone doesn't know how he was able to do it, it's because he's built up such a knowledge and such a practice of that skill that he can do it on a moment's notice. And it looks like intuition, but really intuition is a culmination of all of those experiences just brought together. So for me, working out, building strength, doing yoga, all of these practices that I do to make myself better, ultimately, I think helps me become more in tune with my body, what it needs at any moment, and how I can appropriately challenge myself and also know when I need to pull back. And my goal for working with anyone is to show them that they can also trust themselves to do the same thing. So if you're finishing up this workout here, I did another round of plank ups and Supermans. If you're ready to head right into the stretch that's coming up soon, but if you need another round of any of these things, or if you want to throw in a couple moves of your own, I really do encourage you to listen to your body and try things. I think, yes, sometimes we make mistakes, but small mistakes aren't the end of the world. They actually teach us a lot about where our limits are. And if we never find where that limit is, then we really don't know how to challenge ourselves. These are just some quick stretches that you can hold for a lot longer if you like any of them, or do any of your own stretches. There's this wall chest stretch I'm going to show in a moment with your palm on the wall. Definitely make sure you at least get that one, and I think that's really good to do. Here I'm showing you. When you're done stretching, shake it out, give yourself a hand.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did the workout, please let me know if you liked it. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, I'd love to hear those as well. I do really like making these videos. I'm finding it really fun, so if you're enjoying them, let me know what you'd like to see, because I do plan on making some more beginner-friendly workouts, or even some ideas on how to progress your workouts while you're at home. So again, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. You can like this video, you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Thank you guys, awesome job if you did the workout, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.